Ugh, I'm getting so fucking old, man. Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, Decepticons, Autobots, lizard people, variants thereupon. Hello, everybody. My name is Webba Jones, and today I am 200 years older than I actually am. At least I feel like it. Good shit. I had a lazy day. I had a really nice, long, leisurely, lazy day. Did I misbutton my silk tie shirt? No, I didn't. Okay, good. Sorry. I literally just put this shirt on because I have spent all day in some variation of pajamas and doing really nothing. Except for I spent an exorbitant amount of time this morning grinding oatmeal into oat flour for oatmeal banana pancakes, and I wasted 2 hours of my life on this endeavor. Honestly, I probably shouldn't have. Really shouldn't have. It was a waste of time. I should have just made 2 cups of oat flour and then been done with it. But what are you gonna do? The recipe actually only called for a cup and a half, but like you have to make. See what happens when you make the oat flour when you grind it up into a nice fine powdery flour. Is the oats, they go from like normal size to they shrink because they are ground finer, and so um, there's less packing space, I guess. Like the density capacity is more packable, and so as a result, you can shove more into a cup and a half. You could the best example I can come up with is like if you have a jar and you put like 50 rubber balls in it and that's as much as it can fit. Well, you can still pour like 100 airsoft beads into it, and then you can still even after that add like 2 cups of finely grained sand, and then even after that you can still add some water, and that's because the size of the object can find its way into the little cracks and crevices depending on if it's smaller than the crevice is. I don't have to explain this. People know what I'm talking about. They understand. Grinding sounds kinky. Indeed it does. Food processor. I worked my food processor ragged this morning. It's probably not super happy with me because I also used it to make pancakes batter. So we're gonna revisit the situation in a week when it feels a little bit better because it does not like what I put it through today, which is like an entire bag. Somehow I ended up with actually I know exactly how I ended up with it. I ended up with an entire bag of rolled oats, and I'm just like, what am I gonna do with this? I'm never gonna eat this much oatmeal just on its own. I'll have oatmeal maybe once every 3 months. So in order to speed up the process with which I use this oatmeal, I turn it into a fine powder, flour, for baking purposes, because that's how I would definitely use it. I mean, I don't bake nearly as much as I should for the amount of baking shit that I have, but I definitely bake more than I eat oatmeal. And it was so difficult and long because not only do you have to like put it in the thing and let it food process, but then you have to take it out of the food processor, which you have to somehow remove the blade part from the food processor in order. And that's the only thing that I don't like about it is before you can actually get anything out of the food processor, you have to remove the big ass freaking blade whirlies. So that requires removing the substance from the blades, which if it's like a moist thing, it's a bit of a struggle. And if it's powdery, it gets everywhere. So not a fun process. And then what you have to do with the flour once you've ground it up is you have to sift it because not all of the flour grinds up in the food processor at the same time. So you sift it and then take out the not so fine grains and you separate them from the fine grains. Anyway, it was a whole process. It took 2 hours of my life that I'll never get back. But now I have a whole bag of oat flour that I will be using to make all of the Christmas cookies this season. I mean, it'll be that and the regular flour because I have both that I need to use up. But I do think I like using the oat flour at least for the pancakes because that's what I was making this morning is banana oatmeal pancakes, and they were very good. They were very delicious. They didn't require the marmalade that I put, not marmalade. They didn't require the orange citrus jam that I put on top of it afterwards, so that was a little bit of a waste of my efforts, but on their own they were pretty good. So I have like 6 left, so I'll eat them for breakfast tomorrow probably. James McConnell says, couldn't you have just bought oat flour? I could have, but then what would I do with the big bag of oatmeal in my pantry that I would not have used? So I had to get rid of that. Next time, if I ever want to buy oat flour again, or if I ever want to use oat flour after I've used all of it in the household up, I'll just buy it pre-ground so I don't have to waste my time. But like I said, I was never going to use the big bag of oatmeal on its own as oatmeal unless I was making oatmeal cookies, which I have other oatmeal for. I have too much shit. I'm trying to downsize a little bit here. So, what happens when you get to be my age, ladies and gentlemen, and it's just like right around that point in other people's lives when they are downsizing their shit is you start to accumulate all those other people's shit. So I have things that I don't know what to do with because people are just like, here, you take this, Weebo. We don't need this anymore. So I have red lentils in my pantry that I didn't buy that I've been given and I need to somehow figure out a plan to do with them. And I don't know what to do with them. So if you have any good ideas for lentils or for the big old tub of lard in my pantry, please, I'm all ears. Yeah, that's the age I'm at right now, where people just give a shit. Or in some cases, they sell it to us for like an exorbitantly marked down price. Exorbitant? No, that means it's high. A grossly marked down price from where it actually would sell. So there's that. Like, we're supposed to get new couches at some point from one of these people. They're giving away their couches because they're moving to Arizona, and so at some point we have to rent a U-Haul to transport them because they won't fit in the back of the pickup. And that'll require some coordination and figuring out how to finesse it into the apartment. Luckily, it comes apart, but still, there's the whole like, will it fit? We'll find out aspect of that. But we shall see. Yeah, so that's the stage of my life that I'm at right now. Just accumulating other people's junk. So I have to be super selective about it because we do not have a whole lot of space right now. The only reason I accepted the couches is because our couches, the cats have had their way with them. And when I say that, what I mean is, well, you see, we had to buy an entire bottle of anti-cat scratch spray. The active ingredient in here, I believe, is eucalyptus oil. So essentially, it's a deterrent for cats to scratch on certain things. And, well, it doesn't work as well as we hoped it would for the cats because they have a tendency to go ham on the couches with their claws. So our cats look like, or no, not our cats. Our couches look like a murder victim after being assaulted by a bunch of Bengal tigers. It's quite upsetting, actually, because not only does it look gaudy and disgusting, and I hate it all, but it gets everywhere. All of the little bits and bobs and it's a leather couch too, so all of the leather bits that have fallen off of the couch make their way onto my floor that I vacuum like 6 times a week. Because I'm an obsessive neat freak. So, that's where we're at right now with them. Girls. Also, we've locked them permanently for the week out of this room because we had an ant infestation. I don't know exactly. I have an inkling of exactly how that happened, but essentially, on top of the cockroach issue in the kitchen, we have an ant problem in here. And they're crawling in from that wall in through the boiler room, or in through the boiler room, from the boiler room into our apartment through that wall. Now, I will say this, I have not experienced any such ant infestation myself. It's all been relegated to that corner of the room right over there where a boyfriendo eats, sleeps, and breathes. I jest. But I would hearken a guess as to why they seem so prominent over there as opposed to over here or literally anywhere else in the house. Friday we had the exterminator over and he gave us these fancy little syringes full of ant Trojan horse gel that we're just supposed to kind of apply to the piece of whatever it is that they're going for and then let them carry it back to the nest. So essentially, it's like a Trojan horse that they introduce to the queen that essentially kills the whole anthill, like outright. So we'll see how that works for El Boyfriendo. Up until that point, he'd been using our carpet cleaner as a deterrence. In other news, like I said, the exterminator came over on Friday. I spent 2 hours of my life letting him into all of the different apartments on this side of the building so he could spritz things and such. Because, like I said, we've had the cockroach problem for over a year now, ever since 2 North moved out. That's when it started, and so hopefully this is the last time he has to come out. Like, actually, fingers crossed. But I did see a cockroach yesterday, so yay. Drizzle Sorrow says you could put boiling water in the ant hole. That would require knowing exactly where they were coming from, but all we know is how they're getting into our apartment. We don't know exactly where their origin spot is, so otherwise we would, but it's cold where I live right now, and so it's not like we know exactly where they are coming from unless it's a super sunny day, it's super warm, and they happen to venture out. The next 6 minutes says you can use ground up yeast mixed into molasses for the same Trojan horse effect. What would yeast and molasses have to do with killing ants? I mean, I know the molasses is a sugar-based syrup, right? So it would attract them, but what would the yeast do to the ants? Does yeast have that effect on ants? Anyway, so that's where we're at. I think I saw a question in here about my fluffy teddy bear that I lynched, essentially. So let me tell you the origin of that story. The teddy bear, well, actually, the teddy bear used to sit on a beanbag chair. Beanbag chair had been peed upon by one of the cats very early on in the introduction of them to the household. I thought I'd clean it all up, put the teddy bear back on the beanbag chair because that's where it sat, and then, just walked away. And this smell wasn't pervasive enough that I could tell that it existed beyond what I'd cleaned up. So I ended up donating. This is going to sound so bad, but I ended up donating the beanbag chair and getting rid of it. And then last week, I took all of the stuffed animals in that house and I put them on top of El Boyfriendo just as like a fun little joke thing. And he immediately could like pick out the scent of the teddy bear. The fact that it had some cat urine on it, like immediately, as soon as I put it on top of him, I'm like, I don't smell anything. So I went and I smelled each one and I'm like stuffing my nose in the crotch of the teddy bear. And I'm like, oh, yep, I smell that. So I had to soak it in warm water and, what do you call it? Apple cider vinegar, because that kills the scent of cat urine, by the way. Pro tip. And then I had to dry it, obviously, after it soaked for about 8 hours in the bathtub. And so I had to essentially hang it from the shower curtain rod in order to get it to dry properly, otherwise it wouldn't have. And so then I took that picture because it looked like Teddy had committed suicide or something. Luckily he's fine. He's fluffy now. He doesn't stink. Maybe of apple cider vinegar, but that won't permeate for very long. That'll go away. That'll fade. But he's better. He's back with us. Also, before I get too far into this show, thank you the next 6 minutes for the donation. We have a lot in common, weebs. I had the realization that we both adopted a Minions of the Zoo, a Minion of the Zoo as a co-host. You adopted Polydub for Cocktail Hour. I adopted Terry for Nice Hikes. For great streams by good people, follow the Minions of the Zoo. Much love. Yes, agreed. Go definitely check them out. I'm pretty sure it's just the Minions of the Zoo, and they're like one of the first results that you get when you search them in the YouTube search bar, because it is such a unique name. So you won't have that much trouble finding that, but definitely go check them out. They do a nightly show. It's a whole like conglomerate of different people who just kind of exist on a, I don't want to say squad, but squad, because squad, it's like only 4 people, but it's a lot more than 4 people. They rotate. The host rotates every single night. It's literally every single night, I'm pretty sure, at this point. And each main host does their own thing, but they all talk about stuff and things and such. Is that a good endorsement of the Minions? Anyway, go check them out. What else? Yeah, so Teddy's fine. He's good. We don't know exactly what kind of species ant they are. We just know that they really like to bite El Boyfriendo. And then the next 6 minutes says, in response to my question about yeast and sugars and such, yeast reacts with sugar and molasses to make the queen's stomach explode from the carbon dioxide gases released from the reaction. Oh, fun! That makes sense, because yeast is a bacteria, ladies and gentlemen. Well, actually, no, I think it's not a bacteria, it's a mold, right? Is yeast a mold? It's a type of fungus. Not mold, but fungus. Anyway, in order for it to reproduce more rapidly, what it needs is moisture, warmth, and sugar. The sugar is essentially the food, the moisture is, well, moisture, and then the warmth is kind of like the catalyst of how to get that kick started. So when you're producing yeast for dough, what you're supposed to do is add water to the temperature of like 105 to 110 degrees to something. You're supposed to add the yeast packet to the warm water and then add sugar or honey. Honey works as well, to activate the yeast. And once it's been bubbling for about 10 minutes, then it's been activated, which essentially is just rapidly reproducing itself. So essentially, you're eating yeast babies when you eat bread. Or no, you are boiling yeast babies alive when you bake bread, and you are eating their corpses when you consume it. Daniel Foreman asked, are people turning in their assignments for your charity show? Slowly but surely. They have about 5 more days left until the deadline. Scribe has. Monkey has not, but we had to renegotiate exactly what he'd be turning in to me. So that's not a problem. All he's got to do is record himself doing something, and then I'll mix it up into something cute. Literally, I'm doing all the heavy lifting. He's just being the pretty voice behind what it is that is my genius. I jest. But what else? Sinatra, I think he sent me something today in my email, but I haven't had the opportunity to look because I kind of just didn't do anything super massively productive today. Nope, it's not in my email. I'll bother him about it later. But anyway, he's gotten stuff to give to me. Sixie's gotten his stuff to me. Actually, Sixie was the first one to get his stuff to me. Magog got his stuff to me. Still have a few stragglers and such, but I'm hoping that I get everyone's materials before the 17th so that we can commence. I can commence with putting everything else together and deciding what other like things that I need to do to pad the runtime, because I want it to be 2 hours, and currently we have maybe 45 minutes. Like, and that includes me emceeing and reading off super chats and the commercial breaks. No pressure. Anyway. Scribelight says that Sinatra forgot about it until I reminded him. Yeah, well, how dare he? That butthole. Sultan Al Fahim. Please correct me if I say your name wrong, please. Thank you. What Weebo would do with $1 million? Well, what Weebo would do with $1 million is first she'd pay off the truck. She'd pay off the car, which is almost paid off anyway, so it's not a big deal. But she'd pay off the truck definitely, because that's a lot further out. She'd put aside the amount necessary for the down payment on our household. Actually, you know what? With $1 million, I could just pay off the household that we already had. Or I could just pay off a house entirely. I could just buy a house with cash. That's what I could do. I just buy a house with cash, and then the remainder, and it could be a really nice house too. Like a really, really nice house. But then the remainder would probably go to an index fund to it would essentially, wow, I say that word a lot, don't I? I would put it into a single one account managed by a wealth fund manager and let it collect interest over the next 10 to 20 years so that me and El Boyfriendo could retire early, and then yeah. Because hopefully, I'm thinking it would only cost, I'm saying like half of the amount that I would have from the $1 million would go into the index fund. The other half would be used to pay for the house, the car, the truck, and maybe like, I don't know, another car, because I've never actually owned a car, and I've always wanted to buy a car too. So I'd buy a car, pay off the car and the truck, buy the house, put the rest away to collect interest so we could retire early, and hopefully that would be enough to put our kids through college and see us through until we die. Because that's not the only stuff that we have put away. I mean, we also have our 401ks and such, and then I have some other savings as well. So we'd be sitting pretty. I said that out loud. Yes, I did. But that's what I would do. It would be a massive weight off my chest, honestly. Because then I wouldn't have to put away as much of my paycheck as I do every time I get paid. And we wouldn't have to pay as much every month towards vehicle expenses. Because that's like half of the money that we have jointly half that money goes to vehicle stuff. Actually, more than half, because we have to think about gas too. So it's maybe like 2/3. Let's see. Maybe 2/5. 2/5 go to that, then 1/5 goes to rent, and then 2 more fifths go to groceries. That seems more like a well-assessed, a better assessment of how our finances are handled jointly. That's before I even account for savings and then the internet and electricity. Yeah, because those are the main things that we pay for. Internet, electricity, rent, car, truck, groceries, and then savings. Those are like 7 things. Weebo is a businesswoman, confirmed. I like to think that I'm pretty smart about money. I mean, I'm not the smartest person that I know about money, but I think that I would be good with that amount of money, and I wouldn't waste it. I wouldn't even probably tell my family if I got it. I'd just be like, yeah, we're doing pretty well. I got a massive bonus, so we can definitely buy the house a little bit more ahead of schedule. Cell phone bill. No, I pay cell phone bill directly out of my account because um, El Boyfriendo and I, even though we're on the same phone plan, he also pays for his dad's phone bill, just because he's a good son. He's a good Greek boy. What else? What other bills are there? Blah, 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 blah. There's personal savings as well, because it's not just like we have our joint savings. We also have separate savings accounts, because that's the thing about living with your partner is you got to figure out what works best for you and your partner when it is that you move in together, because otherwise you're going to be a little bit sketched out. Now, some people, they collide all of their finances completely. I don't think that would work for us because I am a little bit controlling when it comes to things that I think are important. Finances is definitely one of them. So I do handle the budgeting for our joint finances. And what comes out of our joint account is handled by me because I have all of the spreadsheets. I know all of the bills and their amounts and how much we should be paying each month. I track all of the cards and all of the debit and credit stuff that we have for those accounts. So I know exactly where we're spending our money, how much we're spending of it, the percentages and such. Not off the top of my head, but like I said, I have the spreadsheets. And so then I also manage my money, but I don't manage El Boyfriendo's money. So we don't combine all of our finances. We combine a percentage of our checks every month, every paycheck. And then after that, whatever he does with his money is his business. I don't care. How many shekels is $1 million? I have no idea how many shekels. I don't know the conversion. No kid, no mortgage. We have an apartment and 2 cats. So we have rent and 2 cats. At some point, that is a thing that we're going to be thinking about. Actually, it's funny. So I got the Face app yesterday because I needed it for a video because I'm doing something with it. But I got the Face app yesterday and I was playing around with it because I'm using it for the thumbnail as well. And I found out that you can actually combine yours and someone else's faces to create a kid. And so I was doing that with El Boyfriendo earlier as I was combining his face with my face to produce our children. And let me show you what one of the options was, because it's how do I say? That's how I say. It's so bad. Let me refresh this, see if it comes up again before I try to get everything. See, what I have is I have the phone app connected to my phone and it's on the computer. So I can just like access my phone from here, but not all of the pictures refresh at the same time. So that is unfortunate. All right. I'm just going to send these pictures to El Boyfriendo, then grab them from Facebook and show them to you. I cracked myself up when I saw them because I thought it was hilarious. I'll show you what our faces combined, what our future children will look like. It's hilarious. Oh boy, I'm kind of giddy about this. Not gonna lie. Do. Okay, all right. I have so much shit. Go away. Thank you for telling me my software is up to date. Okay. So the app only works if you have a decent photo. And obviously, this was not a decent photo that I used to combine with my face. It kind of looks retarded, doesn't it? So that's our future son. Would you like to see little Theodora? Because this is Theodore. Oh gosh. Sorry. Somehow Theodora's worse. And here's little Theodora. Oh, God. And then I guess I can show you guys what our what a better quality picture would look like after I crop out El Boyfriendo's face from it. So give me one sec. I thought it was hilarious. Also, this app is like addictive. Save. So, based off of this application, this is what the better quality photo would look like. So, like, I'll actually show you what the more serious version looks like. But here you go. So if we combined our faces, first off, holy five head. That's me. That's coming from my side of the gene pool. But also our children look super freaking Asian. Yeah. Really big eyes. Again, my side of the gene pool. But like I said, this is when I combined his face with my face. So I guess the way that the algorithm works for the face app, especially the combination one, is it takes like the main picture and then it goes, all right, so which picture are you combining with? And so it essentially it assesses the main face and goes, okay, so this is our base, and then we're going to overlay a face on top of it and merge the two together. So yeah, we had an anime girl essentially Assassins of the Gray. That's what we're having. I can't wait to show you guys our future son. That was hilarious too. But essentially the faces, they merge. I'll send you another version. I'll show you guys another version of our future child. I'm disappointed in our actual son. But hang on. So yeah, they merge the faces together. And the dominant face is the one that was the base face, if that makes any sense. Which is why Theo and Theodora look so freaking retarded, is because the face they were merged upon was super grainy, and so the face app couldn't assess it correctly, unfortunately. So this is me and El Boyfriendo's future son. Oh, Polly's here. Hi, Polly.
Hello.
I'm showing them what children me and El Boyfriendo will have based off of a face app. We combined our faces. We have a weak-chinned son.
He will no doubt be very popular in the remake of Stranger Things.
Indeed, indeed. But then, like I said, the dominant face is the base face, and so when my face is the dominant face, you want to see what happens?
Okay.
This is what happens.
Well, there's plenty of good special needs schools out there. It'll be fine.
She looks like a freaking anime girl. And it's not just one picture. Okay? I just showed them this one. It's every picture with me as the dominant face. If the dominant trait is coming from me, she looks Asian.
Yeah.
And she's got a 5 head.
Oh, yeah, I see you in there. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it's coming from, but she's got gray eyes too. I don't get it. But these were this is what happens when you don't use the correct like picture when it's super grainy. Sorry, I laughed because it's hilarious. Yep.
Look.
Indeed.
I don't even know what I'm not sure where to start. What's so funny about that? Because it looks so two-dimensional. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you look so flat and angled. Like someone's really made some serious mistakes in Photoshop.
Yep. Yep. So now I've demanded from El Boyfriendo he send me all of his good face pictures so I can properly do this. So like I said, like those results, the freaky Weebo Asian 4-head, 5-head, and Twink Boy, and then Theo and Theodora with their retarded like morph faces. That's what happens when you select one dominant face over another dominant face, like a dominant picture over another dominant picture. I think that's at least what my thought is on the process, because I'm pretty sure those were at least the one where she's got like hair down and the guy is like a twink. And I say that, but like, come on, you saw the picture too. He's got such a weak chin. He looks like he's gonna be a femboy. I can see it. Anyway, when you look at those pictures, I'm pretty sure that they were the same combination. It's just one was the base face versus the other one.
Huh.
So I told El Boyfriendo, I said, get me decent looking pictures of yourself. Damn it. None of this grainy shit. Yeah, as I do. And that's what we were doing just before showtime. So showing the audience all of that lovely hard work that I didn't do today.
Oh.
Oh, also, I was playing with the Face app yesterday, and I came to the conclusion that if I went darker haired and had bangs and decided that I wanted to put all of the mousse in my hair, that I would look like Hermione year 1. I don't know if you saw this, but let me share. Definitely getting some Hermione year 1 vibes here. I don't know why my hair is so dark though.
That's some high volume hair.
Yeah, well, that's when I turned it up to 5 because it's not actually that voluminous, nor is it that dark as you can see. But that was what the app made it to be, so I just amped it up to 11, and then it was like, wow.
Did you ever see when somebody tweeted at William Shatner a picture of him from 1969, 1968, like Star Trek, the original series, when he's sitting in the captain's chair, and somebody put his face through the feminization app and like, you know, made him look like a woman, and he came out looking like really hot. It was really weird.
No, I've never seen that.
Somebody tweeted it at him, and he replied, "I do me."
Well, now I'm curious. What would I look like as a dude? No, I'm not gonna do it live. I'll do it, and then I'll show it to you next week and be like, thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Would I make a decent looking dude? I think that I would, personally. I think I have a good face. Like, okay, so straight up, the shape of my face I get from my dad. Same with my nose. Get it from my dad. So I already know that I have like 2 traits going for me. Because as we know, Weebo's dad is Chad. Right, Molly?
Yes. It's true.
But yeah. I think that I would make a very attractive dude. I think I'd date myself if I could. The question would be is if me and myself had a kid, would that technically be too genetically close? Would that be a clone because it's my DNA and my DNA recombining to become more of my DNA? Would that count as a clone?
Don't overthink that.
No? Or would it just be a reshuffling of my DNA with my DNA to create a whole different, like, smorgasbord of my DNA? Like, is that a whole new person or is that still me? These are the answers that haunt me at night, Polly.
They really do. They keep you up.
Yes. Don't they? You?
Don't they you?
Yes. All right. Yeah, I can see it. Go, William. Get her. Get her, boy.
Like it's a little. I don't know how I feel about this. Like Captain Kirk's like Captain Kirk's the man. Captain Kirk shouldn't be hot. This is not okay. I know this threatens my my heterosexuality.
Does it threaten your sexuality if William looks like a girl? Like, if William is morphed to look like a girl? Like, that's this with that.
Not really. Not actually. I'm trying to tell jokes here, Weebo. It's not really. The feminization app did a really good job. Did a really good job here. I'm going to leave it at that.
It did. It really did. I can see myself spending way too much time with these fancy face apps going forward, though. Like, I'm going to have to discontinue my subscription after this month because I won't need it after this month, but I know that I'm going to accidentally forget to stop continuing my monthly subscription to it because it will become addicting for me. I already see it.
I missed the part as to why you subscribed to this to begin with.
For a video that I'm doing. I had to download it because you ever hear of Yazzification?
I have not.
Okay. Well, there is a Twitter account called Yazzifybot. Let me pull it up.
There. I just had to press play on the video to get it because your wall-eyed tard child was on the screen and it was getting a little weird.
So this is what the Yazzifybot does.
Oh.
It's basically using a combination of filters from the Face app to create this. So this is obviously Hannibal Lecter as a woman Yazzified.
Gotcha.
This is Clarice. I think this is that bitch in the tunnel, the senator's daughter, or whomever.
The bitch in the tunnel.
The hole in the ground. This is that weird yogurt monstrosity.
Yeah, that was a monster. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty monstrous.
This is Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yazzified. So, I mean, that's not the whole video that I'm coming out with, but there is a segment in the video where I'm talking about this specific YouTube account or Twitter account. To kind of dress up a parallel to make the transition into the topic that I'm actually talking about a little bit easier to comprehend for the audience. So, of course, what I wanted to do for the thumbnail was take pictures of me and Yazzify them in a line, essentially. And so I took the thumbnail pictures and I'm like, let me upload them to the Face app and see which one of them I like best. And so that was what I was doing yesterday. Is I was playing with the Yazzify or with the Face app and Yazzifying my face for the thumbnail. And so that's why I had to get the monthly subscription because I needed to pay for the premium things. It was only like $5, but I needed to pay for the pro aspects to get all of the little things that I wanted for the thumbnail. So when the video eventually comes out, you'll know that was what it was in service to. See, all my patrons, you can rest assured that your money is going to important businessy type things.
Right.
I swear to God, it has a point.
I'm not just fucking around trying to see what me and my boyfriend's children's gonna look like.
I mean, it does that too. But that was off the clock, by the way. I didn't do anything businessy today, so we're good. Someone produced the female Ben Shapiro. Polly.
Yes, they did.
And it looks basically just like Abby Shapiro. Because isn't this Abby Shapiro?
I've lost track. Like there was did you know that Ben Shapiro's sister is a big tittied, small waist, big ass cam girl? And it's like, turns out that's not her. And then blah, blah, blah on it goes. I don't know.
This isn't Abby Shapiro?
I lost track of the story and then stopped giving a fuck. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure. Okay. So there's more to that story that I wasn't privy to, apparently. Anyway.
So how was your day?
How was my day? I spent too many hours grinding up oatmeal into flour to make oatmeal banana pancakes.
You just didn't buy steel cut oats, or?
No, I had a bag of oatmeal and I wasn't going to use it. So, like, I wasn't going to use it as oatmeal. I would have used it as oat flour because I bake more than I eat oatmeal. So I turned it into oat flour, but it took me way too long.
So you just didn't want to buy oat flour?
No, what I'm saying is I already had a bag of oatmeal. It's not that I didn't want to. I will in the future when I buy oat flour, or when I want to make something with oat flour, I'll buy the oat flour. But I did not have oat flour. I had a bag of oatmeal that I was never going to use. I didn't buy the bag of oatmeal. It was given to me, and I needed to get rid of it. So this is my way of getting rid of it. Just grinding it up into a fine dust for it to bake with. That is how I choose to spend my free time. And I agree. It's not the wisest use of my free time.
How this show hasn't exploded with its spellbinding content, I do not know.
You're right, because this is the second time that I'm rehashing this story on this show.
Jesus Christ, what, you already told this story once today?
Well, that's how I like to start out the show.
Did you use a blender? Did you use a mortar and pestle?
No, actually, the question was, did you use a mortar and pestle or did you use a food processor? And the answer was I used a food processor. And then I went to a whole spiel about how my food processor is not happy with me about that. But you're right. It's astonishing how we haven't been picked up by, like,
some multi-channel network somewhere.
Exactly.
Because you guys got the new hotness. Oh, shit, you be talking about oats? Oh, fuck.
Steel cut or just regular rolled oats? Like, what are we talking about here? I don't know the difference.
Jesus Christ.
Aren't we just, dap notch? Well, okay, so on top of that, we also played Valheim, me and our boyfriend. Like I said, I took the day off, so I had a really uneventful day, minus the oat flour debacle. We made pizza because my 6-week challenge is up, so I got to eat pizza today. We watched like 3 episodes of The Rookie because we were behind. Spoiler alert, Jackson dies in the first 5 minutes of the first episode, but it's not technically, we know it's not Jackson because Jackson decided not to re-up his contract for this last season because guess what? He didn't want to be a part of it anymore. His music career took off, and so he had better things to do than finish out the Rookie, and I'm super salty about it because, like, how could you just do that? Polly, I'm disgusted.
I don't blame him.
Why? Did you not like The Rookie?
I don't even know what show you're talking about.
It's the one with Nathan Fillion where he's a 40-year-old rookie on the police force for the LAPD.
Okay.
And one of the people that he came up with in his rookie class, he's like one of 3 people that were rookies on the force when he signed on. And one of those people is Jackson, who died, not technically off screen, but let's be honest, it was on a surveillance cam that the main cast was watching. And it wasn't probably actually the actor that had been playing Jackson up until that point, because I think they did it retroactively, as they killed him after they found out he wasn't coming back for this season. So they were like, "Oh, we need to convolute a reason why the man doesn't come back this
Why the
season."
man not live?
Mm-hmm. So man not live, he go bye-bye now. So they killed him on the security camera with his like back turned, so you can't actually tell if it's him or not. I'm like, God damn, if I wasn't so pissed off at the actor for leaving, I'd be pissed off at the writers for doing the man dirty like that. But yeah. I think it's a good show. I am a big fan of Nathan Fillion. I'm a big fan of the way that they handle dialogue in that show, and the action is nice and steady. I mean, it's definitely one of those modern. We need to juggle the progressive nonsense with all of the other things that we're talking about, because it is a cop-based show, right? So it's a cop-based procedural show. So they do have to incorporate all of the politics of the day into it, but I think they do it in a way that isn't gross and disgustingly shoving it down your face.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like it. It doesn't make me want to rage at the screen.
Were
Anything
you
Fillion's
watching
always a
this
bonus.
show?
Hulu.
Hulu.
Hulu, yeah. I never actually finished Castle. I also heard that Nathan Fillion and his co-host or co-star, what's her face, didn't actually like each other at all. Is that true? Do we know that that's the case? I heard that that was the case, but I don't know if it's like confirmed or if that's just a rumor that started up or what up. But that's what I thought, and I was like, wow, if that's the case, it's really got to be difficult to co-star with somebody for that many years on a show that's that popular. And I wonder how they do it.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Yeah, see, it's spreading.
How dare you give me the coof?
Oh no, this is the Lambda variant. We've moved on.
Oh.
Be
Wow.
warned, Theta's next.
I'd prefer pie. Firefly, have you seen it? I've seen it. Polly, have you seen it?
Yep.
The whole first season?
Plus the movie.
I didn't like the movie.
Why not?
Because I don't feel like I understand they want to do a movie to round out the end of the series to make it like have an end, because it was a good show. I liked the first season. It was great. But I wish that we'd actually gotten an actual like 5 seasons worth of content out of that TV show.
Uh-huh.
And we didn't.
No.
And that is probably the worst thing that has ever happened to a TV show ever in the history of TV shows, minus Teen Titans getting canceled. I enjoyed it. I think that, I mean, for a first season, it was really good. I think that it had a lot of potential and it was squandered, and the movie ham-fisted an ending, an unnatural way of ending the series as a whole. Because it was just like, I know it was a send-off. I know that. But I wish we'd gotten like a full actual series out of it. I'm just so sad about it. I don't like things ending before their time.
I hear you.
Mm-hmm. I
So
like it for what
tell everybody about how good
Hmm?
The Confession was.
Oh, yes. We watched The Confession on, what was it, Thursday? We did watch it Thursday. It's been a long weekend for me. But yeah, we watched it on Thursday. And I gotta say, Polly, that was the first time you'd ever seen The Confession too, right?
It's true. I had been trying to watch that goddamn thing for over a fucking year.
Well, why not just watch it by yourself if you wanted to? I mean, I know you
I
like
was
to talk
trying to be
during.
social.
Well, I appreciate that you watched it with me, but I mean, like, if you really want to watch something, what's stopping you from watching it yourself and then watching with other people as
Because
well?
I
If
had
you like,
promised Eve that we were going to watch. You people are so just.
what do you mean, you people?
It's like, we'll play video games for fucking 19-hour marathon stretches, but a 1 hour and 2 minute movie. Oh God, I don't know my
She was
time, my
on the
schedule. It's so
road.
tight.
She was on the road with Kayla at the time. Don't give her shit.
A year and a half ago.
I don't know what she was doing a year and a half ago. You'll have to ask her
She
what she
didn't
was
even
doing
know Kayla a year and a half ago. You people are so challenging to schedule things.
Not really, because you canceled on me the time before. I was the one that scheduled this time too.
I was ill. Or no, I wasn't.
You were
What
sleep
happened?
deprived.
I was sleep deprived. That's right.
Mhm.
That's believable.
And not super great company, apparently. According to you. I thought you were fine, but you're like, I don't feel like it. So let's talk about her or Warhammer 4K collections and stuff. You don't even have Warhammer 4K. Is it 40K?
It is 40K.
Oh, okay. I got that right then. The second time.
4K is a resolution. 40K is a
Not that.
massive fictional genre thing. You can't even call it. It's a game. It's a video game. It's a tabletop mini painting adventure. It's a series of books. It's like holy shit, 40K.
It's a franchise, my dude.
Yeah, it is a heavy duty franchise, no question about it.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't think you're actually into that, but I was just pulling shit out of my ass to,
There's parts of it that are okay, but it's like franchises that are like this, right? There's so much to it. The lore is so deep, and it's been going for decades that it's like it's a little overwhelming. Like you listen to people. What's that?
Lord of the Rings for me.
Yeah, like Lord of the Rings intimidates a lot of people from even bothering, man. And 40K is just like that. Oh, when the Tau and the orcs start fighting the Space Marines and Exterminatus and the Adeptus Mechanicus and
then the Prometheus just comes out of nowhere and starts culling the Valhalla and all of the things.
Shit gets crazy quick. It can be pretty goddamn intimidating. Same thing with Tolkien's world. It's
I'm a big fan of all things Tolkien, and I'm super hyped for the series, even though it's probably going to be a massive disappointment for me. Super hyped. You know what I'm also super hyped for, Polly?
Huh?
5 days until The Witcher Season 2.
Oh, shit.
Speaking of Warhammer 40K mega fans, Henry Cavill is coming back as The Witcher.
That was a big day for 40K fans when Cavill posted his pictures of him painting. It's like, oh my God.
He's a super mega nerd purist. Okay. Did you okay, so there was this picture going around. I don't know if you saw it, but I think I reposted it. It is something akin to essentially the actress that plays Suri. She's like, yeah, being on set with Henry Cavill is like having a nerd pierced on set, and he'll be like, we should use line 67 from the the Book of Elves in order to correctly capture the. Okay, here we go. It was this. Here's the post. I found it. Freya Allen on Henry Cavill. He's like a Witcher Bible on set. We're doing a scene, and he's like, we should use this line from page 253 of Blood of Elves. I'm like, yes. Because Like, I am firmly of the belief that if we had more nerd purists on set for these adaptations of beloved fan content like The Witcher, like Lord of the Rings, like Harry Potter, like take your pick fancy for whatever franchise you want. If we had more nerd purists on set, things like I don't know, the Star Wars sequel wouldn't have happened. And the nerd purists, all they got to do is they got to take the source material and go whoosh, backhand the producer, the writer, the director with the source material and go, no, bad. Stop it. And that's all. Yes, Snow Pilot, it is that soon, and I'm super hyped for it. And I'm hyping El Boyfriendo up for it because we watched all of season 1 last month to get prepared for this. We watched the Witcher movie that tells the story of, and I'm totally spacing on his name, Vesemir. The Cry, was it The Cry of the Wolf? Night of the Wolf, Nightmare of the Wolf, the Netflix animated movie. And so, you know, all we have to do is just like hunker down and watch season 2, and I'm super hyped about it. I will make El Boyfriendo call out of work in order to like marathon this shit before anyone can spoil it for me because I'm that much into it. And I have all week to read the rest of the current book that I'm on, which my phone's over there. I can't remember what it was, but I think it's like the 3rd book in the series, A Time of Contempt. So I'm reading through it. I have not read The Silmarillion, said Hero. It's on my bucket list of things to read. But I'm super hyped about it.
I absolutely believe you.
Oh, yeah? What gave it away?
Shit.
Like, I've never played the Witcher video games, but like I saw the Witcher season 1 TV show 2 years ago when it came out on Netflix on winter break before I went back to school, and COVID hit, and I was like, I really like this. This is super great. Also Henry Cavill, so bonus. And then I got super into it, so I started reading the books, and now I'm hooked. Am excited. Am excited. I see people in the chat discussing the plight of the redhead and of casting decisions, and I want to say, I understand where you're coming from. I understand the pressing need to be like, they should have been cast XYZ way. I get it. But I find myself in a school of, I only feel that way if the people arguing against me feel the opposite way. How do I explain this? Let me take it back to the beginning. All right, so you know how redheads keep getting transposed as black people in literally every single rendition of anything ever nowadays? Polly?
White people generally, redheads most of all. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So there's always, I want to say it was like pre-2016, there was this big hullabaloo over white actors playing actors or characters of color. And I get that. It's horrible. We shouldn't do that. The impetus for me to get pissy about redheads being cast, well, not redheads, but like white people, white characters being cast as black people, it came from a place of, that's fucking hypocritical. Why are we not outraged in both camps? And the arguments against those, to me, are exceedingly ignorant, stupid, because they come from a place of, but our historical context makes this okay, but that not okay. And to me, that seems like, okay,
rank hypocrisy.
But the way to correct a historical wrong is not to perform the same historical wrong. The way to correct a historical wrong is to do better. If you yourself exercise the same exact hypocrisy, or if you yourself exercise the same exact action, despite your beliefs, that the opposition, the people that you oppose are doing, the thing that they're doing that you oppose, that makes you no better than the people that you're criticizing. and therefore you lose the moral high ground. So it's either they can cast whoever they want for whatever role they want, or they can adhere to the source material and not be gigantic fucking dicks about it. Shoehorning characters of X, Y, or Z identity into it for the sake of identity politics. It's either or. You do not get to mix and match where you want to play favorites. It's either Anne Boleyn can be black and Martin Luther King can be played by a white guy, or we remain purists on this topic. Anne Boleyn remains a white character.
Oh,
Martin Luther King remains a black
Anne
character.
Boylan. I thought you were saying Amber Lynn. I'm like,
No,
they're not making a movie with Amber Lynn Reed, are they?
No, Anne Boleyn. They're not.
Anne Boylan.
It's pronounced Boleyn.
I'll reach through this mic and I'll grab that coffee.
It's tea, but I swear to God, it's Boleyn. Tea. I swear to God, it's Boleyn.
Okay, so I've got this theory. You want to hear my theory? I've been working on it.
Hit me with it.
Okay, it's not fully formed yet, but here it is in broad thumbnail sketch terms. So women that wear an engagement looking ring, wedding looking ring, promise looking ring. So like, simple band with a rock, right? Yeah. Okay. Women who wear this on their left hand, on their ring finger.
Yes.
And it's not a promise ring. It's not an engagement ring. It's not a wedding ring. You understand what I'm saying? They wasn't given it to them by some man, or they're in some kind of commitment thing.
Yeah.
Okay. They're just wearing it because, like, an ex-girlfriend of mine used to wear
a fake engagement ring.
She had her grandparents' wedding bands, like they were fused together, like silver soldered together.
Yeah.
And she used to wear that on her right hand, on
this one,
on the ring finger.
Okay, makes sense.
Because it was just like a piece of jewelry and like a family piece of jewelry. And
it's a family heirloom.
Yeah, and the fact that those two, like the man's wedding band and the woman's wedding ring, her grandparents' rings were like fused together. She thought that was great. It was cool, and she liked it, and so she wore it. Like, okay, gotcha. Okay, but when you go around and you wear a ring on your ring finger on your left hand, okay, so and you're not in any kind of committed relationship, it is my theory that is the female version, and the male equivalent of that is lying and saying you're not in a relationship to a woman with a woman when in fact you are, because of the state of things and the way that it works in male-female relationships. When a man is walking up and approaching a woman and talking and hitting on her, and feminists deal with it. Men still ask women out 98% of the time. It's just the way that it is. Women send out signals, but men ask. That's still the deal. It's been that way for a long, long time, and it is still the deal.
It be.
So the equivalent. So there is an equivalency there. That if a man is like, "Oh no, I'm not in a relationship," that's the equivalent of a woman wearing a ring when she's not in a relationship.
Wait, that's the equivalent of a woman not wearing a ring?
No, wearing a ring when she ain't in no goddamn relationship. What you wearing that for?
I guess
it's like, well, I'm just wearing jewelry. No, you're wearing a simple band with a rock on a finger that signifies a very particular thing. And you're single. Or you're just dating some dude who didn't give you that fucking ring.
I can see that. But I also know that some women have a fake wedding ring. Not a lot of women, but I've heard it said that some women have a fake wedding ring that they wear on their left hand to deter men from flirting with them. For instance, I think one time that I heard it said, It was a woman. She worked at a company and she had a wedding ring, but she wore it to kind of keep things professional so that the office romances that tended to happen wouldn't happen as much. So kind of like as a deterrent from that kind of behavior aimed at her, even though she wasn't engaged, even though she wasn't married. It was just kind of like a bye-bye. So I get that because it does act as a deterrent. But if you're just wearing it as a fashion statement, then yeah, it does seem kind of sketchy.
But see, this is the thing. So I'm wearing it as a deterrent to what? To men hitting on me. And a man is lying about his relationship status to act as a deterrent to what? To being told no.
Wait, so the guy is lying and saying he's not with somebody or he is with somebody?
He's not when he in fact is.
And you're asking me how those are different?
No, I'm saying they aren't
No,
different.
they're not different. In that they're lying about their status. I guess the difference is in the goal.
My interest is like, it's not so much like, where's the betrayal, where's the treachery, blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, I guess that could be a discussion. I'm just talking about the types of deception that men and women engage in, and I'm saying that men with the wedding ring thing and so on and so forth, guys rocking wedding bands or promise rings and shit like that, like no. That's like that. That's not a thing. I think women do. Women wear rings on their ring finger when they goddamn well shouldn't, because it sends a certain signal. And if you're trying to repel men, okay, but understand that men are going to lie about their relationship status when they're dating someone, because it's like, oh well, you might be better though than the current girl I'm dating, and so I'm going to lie and say I'm not seeing anyone as a repellent of you saying no.
Well, that's a super mega black pilled way of looking at it, I guess.
It is. Yes. This is not a uncynical look.
I'll do you one better, all right, in terms of cynicism. Some men who do wear a wedding ring, there's a movie, I think, called Just Go With It, where Adam Sandler wears a wedding ring, and that's like his female attractor, because he plays the part of my wife is the worst abusive emotionally and physically woman ever, and
Really?
please comfort me, and that's how he gets laid. Leading up to the one woman who it doesn't work on, she finds the ring in his pants post-coitus and she goes, bitch slap, and then there's this whole like hilarity ensues storyline. You have to watch it. It's I think it's personally a funny movie, but that's coming from someone who actually enjoys Adam Sandler movies, so take my opinion with a grain of salt, because like I said, I like Adam Sandler movies. I know not everyone does. Kind of controversial opinion there, I guess. But the other thing is there are a sect of women out there who are attracted to men who are unavailable, or at least attracted to the challenge of getting a man who's unavailable. For instance, for whatever reason, the moment I started being like, I am attached, I stopped really getting flirted with by people, except for when I was a bartender. Then it was different. But when El Boyfriendo started wearing his promise ring, because we got each other promise rings in college because we're that much of a pair of dweebs. But when El Boyfriendo got his promise ring, that's when all of the sudden like women started coming out of the woodwork trying to flirt with him and telling him that they liked him and trying to attempt to break us up. Like there were maybe 4 or 5 instances of women who told my boyfriend that they liked or had feelings for him, or tried to kiss him, or tried to flirt with him blatantly in front of our mutual friends too, when they knew that he was in a very serious committed relationship while I was away at college, mind you, too. So this is like, there are women out there that are attracted to men who are unavailable. And it's very interesting. I've never been around any of them because I'd smack a bitch the moment I saw that shit, but it reportedly has happened. And it kind of I'm a little bit salty about it right now. I'm like gassing myself up here thinking about it. It feels very disrespectful. Not just to mine and El Boyfriendo's relationship, but to me as well. You know?
Yeah.
Fresh salt. Fresh salt I have. Mm. No, I let El Boyfriendo handle his shenanigans, and he does quite well. But yeah. But we've been together for 7 years, so I don't know. Is 5 that large of a number considering the amount of times that we've been, or the amount of time that we've been together?
Is what?
Is 5 challengers to my boyfriend's hand in marriage?
Suitors, if you will.
I guess. Is that unorthodox? I don't know. I'm not a dude, so I don't know what the like average number of women throwing themselves at is while in a relationship. But that's just the tendency that I've come to recognize. Ah, yes, we call them home wrecking slatterns. Yeah, I just learned that slatterns was an actual word for whores, by the way. And I've been being called a slattern on a side quest for the better part of 6 months by Ark, so I'm about to bop him a new one. But you know, no, I hadn't had to call on some bitches at their houses and fight them to the death for the honor of my boyfriend's hand. He takes care of his own shenanigans. Lets them down easy. He's a catch, I understand. You know. But he's mine, bitches. In the original James Bond books, Bond went after married women because, in so many words, they were the best since they were taken. That feels wrong. That doesn't just feel wrong. That feels like super disrespectfully to me, honestly. Because that's supposed to be like a hard line in the sand, I would think. But no, there are some people out there where that's not the case. Kind of pisses me off. Anyway, so that's my black pilled relationship dating observation, Polly.
All right, fair enough.
We just love these conversations. No, I don't watch you. I have a Weebo at home. Exactly. I'm right here. It hurt my viewings. So, Polly, what did you do today?
I slept a really long time because I'm still sick. I'm glad my throat is not remotely as sore as it was. It has become it has moved from a chest cold to a head cold. My sinuses are thoroughly plugged and throbbing, and I have a wicked headache, and I feel quite terrible. Thank you for asking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was
Chat, tell
fucked up a couple days
Polly
ago,
what he can do to fix his cold sickness. If you have any pro tips, give them to Polly.
Yeah, Mr. Adams says I have the Unicron. No. I've moved on to the Lambda variant. I fear the Theta, but I'm pretty sure it's the Lambda.
Oh no. Just wait around for the pie. I hear it's delicious.
I gotta get around to finishing your clip for the Christmas.
How do you get around to it, or will you get around to it?
No, I gotta get around to it. It's
gotcha.
The video itself is it's underway. Like there's a Vegas file, all the hard clip work and editing has been done. The point form notes of the script are largely done. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? It's well underway. Like, it's not like, oh, I got some ideas of some things I might do. No. I'm well past that point. I just got to get around to, finishing the fucking thing, doing it.
Well, it can't be that difficult, right? It's only a 3 at most minute video, right?
At most a 3-minute video? Is that what you just said?
Yeah. Only
it was going to be around there, but I didn't realize there was a hard time limit, but I was going to be around there anyway. So that's cool.
It's not hard. I'm just like, That was like my benchmark of like 2 to 3 minutes. If you go over a little bit, it's fine. I'm not gonna be a super stickler about it, but I thought 3 minutes was a good amount of time for like a cutoff. Because otherwise, then you get people who submit like 10-minute videos, and it's way too much time on one topic. People would check out real fast because it's a variety show. I want everyone to have like their time in the spotlight.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Serpent 21 brought up take Alka-Seltzer bundle up and sweat it out. I came across the fabled weighted blankets today.
Wait, did you put them on, or like, are you just
No,
looking at
I just came
the
across
internet?
them in the store. I always hear people talking about their weighted blankets, and
Mm-hmm.
I asked somebody one time what that was like, and I received a total 100% internet response, and I never asked again because it's just I
What was the internet response?
said a weighted blanket. That's I've heard of that before. What's that like? And they go, it's a blanket, but it's weighted.
Oh my god!
Like that was
That
the
sounds.
like dead serious actual answer that I got. Like, what don't you understand about this? Did you actually think that's what I was asking? Like I was looking for like a descriptor, like how heavy was it? Do they come in different weights? I don't know anything about these weighted fucking blankets. Okay, I was asking for some fucking details, and I got the classic. Everyone's a fucking retard but me because we're on the fucking internet. So it's my job to make everyone sound fucking stupid. I mean, hello, as soon as I'm fucking online, everyone's got to be a fucking retard but me.
Oh, so they're terminally online. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, that type of individual.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's certainly not everybody online, but goddamn, they're out there, man. And okay, here's something I didn't know, and like, I'm sure everybody else knew this, but fucking me. I didn't know what weighted them. It's like, what makes them weighty? Like, are they like lead lined? They couldn't be lead lined. That would be like toxic.
Yeah, that would be toxic.
And it's like no, full of like little polymer beads. This particular brand of blankets was.
No, I just think that the fabric of the weighted blanket is woven with some sort of some sort of heavier fiber. What?
These ones had beads in them, as well as what's it called? Blanket pillow stuffing. The stuffing.
They have fillers like plastic poly belts, glass beads, or steel shot beads to make them heavier. The weight of a weighted blanket weighing down on the user's body results in what is called deep touch pressure.
And that's what it said right across the box that it was in. It said, like a big hug, sleep well.
Mm-hmm. You know what? The closest thing I can come to, like comparison wise, for a weighted blanket is when my cat decides to sleep next to me and my boyfriend. Well, so my cat sleeps on the blankets on one side of me, and our boyfriend sleeps on the comforter on the other side of me. And so I'm like prevented from doing anything because my blanket has a weight on either side of it. So I can't go anywhere or do anything. And I'm just kind of like trapped in this little cocoon like a baby who's been bundled up almost. It's the closest I can get. It's being trapped. It's actually quite comfortable, surprisingly.
It's because I don't know. I've never slept under one.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, would it feel like heavy and compressed and be like, oh, I don't like this? Or would it feel like a nice warm hug? Like, I don't know. I'm curious. And somebody in chat said, Zed Heroes, that they are expensive. Yeah, man. Whoa, because they had the regular, comforters and whatnot next to them. And the big thing that I hear people mentioning now is you got to get the bamboo fiber. It used to be the Egyptian cotton high thread count was the super comfy one. And now it's like motherfuckers all like, especially a bunch of girls I know are like, oh, I got my bamboo comforter. It's like the greatest fucking thing ever. It's so comfortable. It's so soft, etc. The weighted blankets were like more expensive than the super fancy high fiber count bamboo.
Bamboo fiber.
Pair to bear. Help! I'm comfortable and I can't get up.
Exactly. That's how I felt this morning because I had Valentine right there next to me, preventing me from getting out of bed. And I'm like, I guess I'm here until she leaves. Then finally at 10:30, this is like 2 hours after my alarm went off, I was like, oh, thank God she's gone. I can finally remove myself from the blankets. Because she's always there when I wake up. She's either waking me up or forcing me to stay asleep, which is probably good. She's my cuddle buddy. She helps to relax me. It's very nice. You should get a cat, Polly.
Yeah.
It'll do you something better than a weighted blanket ever could, because you can pet a cat
Yeah.
and
I
not
don't
pet a
know any
blanket.
weighted blanket that purrs.
Exactly. Before this gets too far back there in the comments, I want to answer Assassin of the Gray's question. Weebo, do you have a tentative date for the charity show? I need to make sure I have funds to send. So I'm thinking about doing it the 29th of December, because I want to do a dress rehearsal on the 27th. Wait, did I say the 29th? Okay, Wednesday the 29th. That's when the charity show will be. Dress rehearsal would be 27th. So basically, I just do a test stream to work out all the bugs and kinks from the actual stream, because I want it to be good. I want it to be like some semi-professional. So test stream the 27th. I don't think it'll go the full 2 hours. I'll just pad it with some old Weebo clips and kind of get my groove on and have a good time. 29th though, it'll take place when I usually have Discord community night, so around 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that is when that will happen. And I am making it so right now. I'm setting a date and time. Christmas variety show. That also gives me enough time to, work out all of the technical shenanigans, because there's a few technical things that I want to get worked out. Some other film shenanigans and commercially bits that I want to get sussed out as well. So that gives me time. It gives me a lot of time. Okay. It is law. Thine holy calendar has spoken.
Let it be written, so let it be done.
Indeed. There we go. Whom I demand cuddles. Indeed, indeed. It's quite nice, Polly. I seriously think that you should get a cat.
I'd like to get a cat. I think I could get away with it with my rental agreement contract. It says no pets. It also says no smoking.
So your landlord is flexible. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I don't think he'd be particularly happy if I smoked a cat, but
Probably not. But you can always try. It's always easier to ask for forgiveness than for permission, I guess.
Damn right. Totally agree. Well, if you're gonna sneak a pet next to a goldfish, a cat's probably your best option.
So long as you actually clean up after the cat and you change the litter box.
You're right.
And you get the fucker spayed and or neutered.
Sure.
Depending on how many reproductive organs they have. Because I used the word and or.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You've had cats, plural, and do have right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so people got stank ass litter boxes. And sometimes it's totally not their fault. Like I've known people that have tried multiple different kinds of kitty litter, right? And have changed the litter and scooped the litter and they bought the clumping litter, like the whole 9 yards, right? Like they are fastidious, and it's not like their house reeked. It's just when you went to the area of the house where the litter box was, you could smell the whiff. Even though they had gone through great efforts. Is there such a thing as the kitty litter house, where it's like a kennel, like them travel boxes they put cats in for planes?
Yeah.
Right. It's like that, but there's kitty litter in there, and there's
You mean like a hooded kitty box?
Yeah. Like there's a cover over the top, obviously.
Yeah.
There would be a rubber gasket between both halves, because they tend to go together like that, in two halves. Mm-hmm. And then, like at a car wash where there's the hanging rubber curtain. You know what I mean? That kind of seals off the outside from the inside.
I don't know about that necessarily, but Our cat boxes, one of them came with a door flap on the front and then a kitty cat filter, air filter on the top, so it doesn't stink a whole lot at all. But we also change our litter boxes twice a week, and then I change the litter out pretty often. I think maybe twice a month, like completely fresh new litter. That's another thing that I don't think a lot of people think to do. I think they just consider adding more litter and removing the clunky shit from the
Right.
box is enough, but no, you actually have to dump the old litter out and put fresh litter in. And I only know that some people don't know how to do that because when we moved in together, El Boyfriendo did not think that that was something that needed to be done.
Oh, yeah.
But he didn't really interact with the cat's litter box all as often as we have to because of the way that the spacing is set up. So I don't think he realized that that was a problem. The other thing is also, of course, have equal to or more than the number of cats you have in terms of litter boxes. So we have 2 cats, we have 2 litter boxes. Ideally, we'd have a third, but we have nowhere to put it. The other thing is what the cat eats has a lot to do with it too.
That makes sense.
I
heard the difference between male and female. The female cat urine is much, much stronger. I don't know if that's true. I never had a cat.
Yeah, I guess, but not by unholy degrees. Cole didn't have really strong urine, but of course he also went outside half the time, so we didn't have to change the litter box more than once a month actually, because he literally did all his business outside.
Thank you. The next 6 minutes for $2.42. Hey, Polly, did you know that you and I have a great deal in common? We both have Australian co-hosts. I hope neither end up in a COVID camp. That would suck. Terry and Farr are really awesome people. Oh, Terry Diamond is Terry Diamond is great. And yeah, Australian fucking literal concentration camps. Like they have like. They used to have leper valleys back in the classical world. Like, they'd make all the lepers go off to a valley. You know what I mean? They run them out of town and off to...
I thought there were leper colonies.
Yeah, and colonies, islands and whatnot. And now they just build buildings. Like, they really do treat people with COVID like they've got leprosy. Like, oh, don't go near them. They'll
get their leper on you.
It's the closest historical analogy that I can think of. You know what I mean? It's concentration camps. It's like, no, that's because of who you were, not because of a disease you had. It's like, so what would be the closest thing? It would be a fucking leper colony. Like, what the fuck? Because they put it up in the middle of nowhere, right? In Australia, they put them in these like strange places up near Darwin in the north, and it's what the fuck is going on in Australia? Jesus Christ.
Remind me not to go to Australia. But is anyone surprised Australia, which used to be and harbor all of the prisoners from the British people?
Well, no one's saying they're not a bunch of crooks. I'm just saying that they necessarily need to be locked up until they've, succumbed to their nature and stolen something or whatever.
No, but I mean, it's kind of depressing the way the New World Order is going, Polly.
Yeah, like, why are Australians are getting it bad, and then you look at New Zealand and they're like, oh, we're phasing out smoking. We're gonna raise the age of like gradually till you have to be like 45. We're gonna wait for all you smokers to die off, and then no one can buy cigarettes ever again. Like that's not regulation. That's social engineering. What is going on?
If it works
in Oceania, what the hell?
I don't know. I feel like if it works, it's socially engineering people, manipulating them into breaking bad habits that they shouldn't have anyway is probably not the worst way to go. It's probably how I'm going to deal with some of my children's bad habits.
You're a parent. A government is not a parent to its children.
No, I know.
For God's sake.
I guess it depends on where our health care is coming from. If it's coming from private insurance, then yeah, sure, do whatever the fuck you want. But if it's coming from the government, then yeah, let's fucking phase out smoking.
Right, because smoking, more people aren't dying of like, fatty fucking foods. And you know that New Zealand, if they're willing to do that, limiting the size of sodas, maximum fat content of any ground beef can only be if you're not getting up and doing your daily calisthenics in front of the camera so we can see you. And yes, I pulled that right out of 1984. Then we're going to be fining you, like, because being a big fat fuck is worse to contracting a whole range of health difficulties. That's a weight on the public healthcare system, more so than smoking in terms of overall dollar value. And by the way, women draw more from the healthcare system than men do. So that means they
Well, okay, so personally, I'm not very, but I have a semi-libertarian view on this, and that myself, I don't like to impose my own, like, mandates on other people unless they're my own children, which I don't have any of, so I shouldn't be mandating anyone to do anything at all in any capacity. Because I like the idea of having more of the ability to choose. But if that's the kind of country that you're living in, that you are okay with living in, that you want to have a government body make these decisions for you, then I guess go ahead. Sure. Live there. Let the government make your decisions. Let them play mommy for you, whatever. I don't like it per se, which is why I would fight against that kind of legislature in the Americas. But I don't know, is Australia more libertarian or less, like,
no, I had no idea.
I have no idea,
The
so
things
I don't live there.
the protests that I see going on in Australia that are, you know what I mean, against a lot of this stuff, but then the government's going that way. I had no idea that the government of Australia and New Zealand were that authoritarian. I had no fucking clue.
Like, have they always been this authoritarian? Is this a new
No,
thing
I don't
because of
know.
the
Like, this is
last
all a
2
surprise to me.
years?
It's like I figured
I'm not an
no.
expert.
I figured no would have been the answer.
It's jarring because we have a very American-centric view of the way that government should interject with our lives and the 10th Amendment, right? So, you know, all rights
No,
not
no, it's
strictly
fine. The
stipulated.
government's here to be my nanny and watch over me, and they're making decisions that are in our own best interests. And
Personally, I think
it's,
that,
I mean, but really, you shouldn't be wasting taxpayer money and going to school for things that you're not naturally adept at. So everyone should be taking aptitude tests, and those are the only things you can go to school for, because otherwise it's a waste of tax money. Like, social engineering has no end, literally. And wait a minute, we did a 23andMe on you, and you have chromosomes, and so does your partner, that make it likely that you're going to have Down syndrome children. So no children for you, because that'll be a heavy weight on the. Why not?
yeah, it sounds
Why?
like
It's the
dystopian
same
society.
reasoning, it's the same logic, and it's like, no, he's different because it's different because it's something you suddenly don't like anymore. But those filthy, dirty lung people, oh yeah, fuck them because I don't like them. Wait a minute.
Yeah. The vaccination cards and the getting tested everywhere you go to see if you are COVID positive or not is like one step away from eugenically controlling the way that we breed our populations. Essentially, like, okay, are you allowed to have this healthcare for your gynecologist, or allowed to have this hospital stay for your labor? What kind of child are you producing? Can we give you entry for this child that you are carrying? Is this child going to in any way impose any sort of of um, financial, or incur any sort of financial responsibility by the government and or other people because of what they inherently are? That seems like that's where this is heading, right? I don't like it. I do not like it. But I also know that we can only do so much from this side of the earth to combat such shenanigans, and we have a lot of our own issues to deal with too. I mean, my company is losing a whole lot of workers come January because they mandated, based off of a now I think defunct mandate, that people who don't get the vaccine don't get to come back to work after a certain date. So I think there are a lot of different areas of the world that are a little bit fucked up right now and on the fritz because of something that we were not emotionally, mentally, socially equipped enough to handle yet as the vastly different societies that we are. I mean, why'd you have to bring this topic to
Yeah, I
the
know.
table, Polly?
Hey, eugenics used to be really, really fucking popular, and people have thrown around the word progress and progressive and blah, blah, blah. Okay, getting rid of eugenics and thinking of eugenics as an ugly, disgusting thing, that's actual progress, because it is ugly and fucking disgusting. And I see shades of its return all over the fucking place.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, if you consider this, the process of mate selection is at its most basic, fundamental function kind of eugenic in nature, if we're taking eugenics to mean selecting a preferable population to breed, right? So you find someone that you want to have a baby with for X, Y, and Z trait. That's you making a determination on who you want to mate based off of what traits you find in them that are attractive. And maybe it's not at the forefront of your mind that, oh, any children that we produce will have these same traits, but it's like it's inherent. Am I making a cohesive argument here?
No, but I think
Oh,
I understand
okay.
what you mean.
Okay. How can I phrase this in a way that is more understood? So, I find somebody that I like, that I want to have sex with. The act of sex, although not every single time, is the divine purpose of which is to have a child. Finding someone that you want to have sex with, essentially you are stating that you would not mind having a kid with that partner, and the potential of all of their traits and all of your traits combining to formulate that child. It's soft eugenics. Thank you, old man Enfield.
Yeah, it's a good description for it.
Very soft eugenics. But you are making a decision. You are segregating from the population from the population, you are selecting a person that you would like to breed with based off of the traits that you find inherently attractive. You are making that distinction. You are making that determination. You are discriminating from another sect of the population that you don't find attractive when you decide to have sex with someone. Because, like I said, there is always that chance that you will have a kid if you engage in that activity with someone. Ergo, soft eugenics. Boom. Got him. I was not prepared to have these conversations today, Polly.
Well, neither was I. I don't know. What are you talking about it for?
Didn't you bring up eugenics first? What was that mean?
Yeah, I think I did. I'm still going to blame you, though.
Okay, that's fair. In other news, did anything else fun happen
this weekend?
Yeah, or just like not necessarily to you, but just in general. Did anything else fun happen this weekend? Chat, you can also hop in on this and tell us what happened that was interesting.
Yeah, Please do, so we can wrap the show up. So I can wrap myself up in blankets with hot bourbon toddy and slep.
Yeah, we can go another like 16 minutes until 2 hour mark.
16 minutes.
Is that too many minutes?
Oh, so many minutes.
Are you gonna be able to live?
Well, I'll be here.
Yeah.
If only in spirit.
Okay, that's fair. Oh, Jussie Smollett. Didn't we talk about that on Thursday?
Yeah, fuck him, and you'll never see the inside of a jail.
Did anything else develop? He was found guilty. I believe he's appealing.
Oh, he's appealing, all right.
Naturally. Did anything else come of it? Like, did anyone else hear anything about the case? Because the only thing that I heard was that he'd been found guilty, and that was that. It took the jury about 9 hours to come to a consensus on that.
Yeah, but there were multiple charges against the guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, 9 hours to deliberate about how many charges? Let me find out.
Yeah, it's like you might be guilty of 1, 2, and 3, but are you guilty of 4 and 5? If you know what I mean, like it.
Already the jury panel is talking about.
And I have no idea how long. Like I can't gauge that in any kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like 9 hours. I'm like, is that a lot or a little for a case of this sort with charges of that type? I have no idea.
5 of 6 counts. He was found guilty on 5 of the 6 counts of felony disorderly conduct by the Chicago Sun-Times.
But all of them were C and D felonies, right?
I didn't really follow it all that closely, so I don't know.
Like they're technically felonies, so like yes, absolutely, seriously, but they are very low grade felonies. And I don't mean that to diminish what the guy did. I mean, Jesus Christ, the fucking you scumbag. But I bring up the fact that they're low grade felonies to reiterate the point. There's no way that guy's going to see the inside of a jail.
No, it's probably just going to be like, what? Here's a fine, slap on the wrist, go about your day. But I do think that he suffered a lot more in terms of damages than maybe the justice system can deliver, because his reputation is shit too right now at this point. Like, who's going to work with him again? Right? I mean, not on the same level as Kyle Rittenhouse.
Go on Twitter, everybody from the left wing. They're all still like, I can't believe that the racist judge sneered at him. Because
yeah, but then there's also the entire other side of the aisle who's like, well, I mean, Empire, for instance.
The other side of the aisle who never watched Empire or even knew it existed.
I know, but Empire, for example, I'm pretty sure that show is like shot to shit. It was doing very well before all this, and then once it happened, I think Empire got canceled, did it not?
I don't know.
Yeah, it ran until 2020. Why was Empire canceled?
Oh yeah, Daniel Fullman, Hillary Clinton crying over her to be delivered victory speech. That's just like, why Hillary? Why? Of all, why? Why would you have done that? Like to the world, to yourself, just across the board. Why?
Yeah, Empire was canceled. They told us it was because of the coronavirus issue, but a lot of other TV shows didn't get canceled because of coronavirus. So I'm pretty sure the Jussie Smollett issue killed it dead.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. Like watch and move on media, where we've talked about that multiple times, right? Movies that Netflix originals that are meant to be consumed and forgotten almost immediately, produced with very low budgets, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And terrible boilerplate writing. Them canceling the show and moving the production resources elsewhere is not terribly surprising right now. Like, if a big, massive show where the stars of the show are being paid critically huge amounts of money because they're integral to the show. Like, if Big Bang Theory got canceled at the peak of its viewership, okay, that would have been fucking really surprising. Like, holy shit. Empire getting canceled, like, yeah, it was a big show. But Jussie Smollett was not happy with fucking what he was getting paid, which was, well, more than that hack should have been paid. Is it? And you know what's funny now is that everyone's going to watch, like, go back eventually and watch Alien Covenant and go, oh my God, that's Jussie Smollett. And it's like, yeah, he was in that. You didn't know that? Yeah.
Was he really?
Yeah, he is. But, everyone's seen his picture a whole bunch of times now. And they're going to go back and they're going to watch Alien Covenant again at some point, or watch it for the first time and be like, holy shit, that's Jussie Smollett.
What kind of name is Smollett anyway?
Well, I don't know. What when your name's Justin, why would you want to go by Jussie? It just,
I don't know, because you want to sound gayer, and you already do.
nah, I think it's because I want to stand out, and my mom didn't name me something weird with an apostrophe in the middle of it, so I want to, a weird name myself.
That's fair. That's fair. If you could give yourself any name, Polly, what would it be? I feel like I already know the answer to this, but
Yeah, Maximilian.
okay. I haven't really thought about this a whole lot. But yeah,
I want a Bond villain name, and Maximilian is totally a Bond villain name.
Is it though?
Yes, it's literally a Bond villain name. That's where I got it from. Maximilian Largo.
Oh. I don't know what my fake name would be.
It sounds really Bond villainy when you have somebody who's British or pan-European saying it.
Maximilian.
Maximilian.
That's not super
You've
European.
done it again. When are you going to stop with these schemes of yours, Maximilian?
Never get acting work ever. Actually, no, just don't ever become like a Bond villain actor person. You don't have the accent for it.
Well, I don't have the accent for it, but I got the. I could play a rage-fueled villain very well, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what name that I would go with. I know that it was down, like, when I was born, it was down to two options. The current name that I already have, which I'm not going to say out loud, because no. Or I could have been Sabrina. And I don't think that I look like a Sabrina.
Oh, no, I've never really quite understood what people mean when they say that. You don't look like a...
Well, like, I don't know.
Like Far looks like a Prudence Gertrude because that's her name. Like, so, like, I've always... I don't call her that. No one does. Everyone calls her Gertie. So it, Gertrude, it's short for Gertrude, Gertie. So
I get it. I get it.
So, like, it's just everyone looks like their name if that's their name,
I guess, but I also don't think that I look like my actual name or my nickname either. So I don't know. That's why that's the thing. That's why I came up with the Nameless Thief, because I just couldn't figure out a name
for
myself. I couldn't settle on one, so I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go with the Nameless Thief, and it's gonna be a thing. I'll be an identity thief. It'll be hilarious.
Oh, Far, don't worry about it. Everybody, they don't know your last name.
But yeah, no, I don't think I look like a Sabrina.
No, you look like a Weebo.
Oh, God. Thanks. That was a complete. I just picked that at random because I was like, I don't have a good name for this, so I like Flubber. Let's just use that. It's not like I had like the strongest connection to that name. It was just this would be funny. There was not a lot of thought that went into that. I can't do that with any children I have. I will literally obsess for 9 years over the names of my children before I actually give them a name, which is why I'm starting like 2 years ago. I already have a list of names in my notes, and I have to continuously run them by El Boyfriendo because he doesn't like any of the names that I've given him. Like, for instance, he doesn't like the name Penelope or Calliope. He's like, that sounds like a bunch of horses. And I'm like,
Penelope, not so much, but Calliope's nice.
Thank you. Thank you. But no, he hates those names.
What about shit? What was it? The Greek name for the moon. Shit. What is the goddess too?
Which goddess? There are a number of them. It's a
Of the moon. The moon.
Oh,
of Luna.
Selene?
Selene.
I don't know. I really like the name Diana too. But that's more Roman.
Tis.
My phone is all the way over there, but I can't grab it. And then a few of the other names that I have are already taken by people in the family, or even like variations of those names are taken by people in the family, and I'm like, God damn it, fuck.
Yeah, Serpent's right. Persephone's very nice. It's very feminine.
It is on my list of names too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then what would I shorten it to? Percy? Just call my daughter Percy?
Oof. Yeah, no one's gonna like that.
No.
Seph.
Penelope's a good name because you can shorten it to
Seph or Sephi.
Maybe. I like a very nice unisex name that I thought of was like any version of Alexander or Alexandria. But like I said, it's already been taken by someone in the family. So I'm like, fuck. Can't do that.
That's what you should do. You need to pick a unisex name until the child is old enough to choose their own gender.
That's what happened with me. Not like until they're old enough to choose their own gender. It was just let me slap a unisex name onto that kid. Because I got it from a street sign. Thanks, Dad. It was named after a street sign, Polly. There's no significance behind my name. That's the other thing, too, is hilarious, is on my dad's side, or on my side of the family, the only person with a significant name, really, is my cousin, my older cousin, who's named after both his grandfathers. So my grandfather and then his dad's dad. Everyone else is kind of random in terms of first and middle name. Like my middle name is a family middle name, but I don't think that's going to carry on because it's my mother's adoptive family, and I'm not super attached to my middle name, to be honest, or my mother. But like on El Boyfriendo's side of the family, everyone's named after someone that is a dead relative in the previous generation, and I'm like,
yeah.
I don't like that idea either because they're not previous relations. Ooh, you know what other name I like is Anastasia. That is another girl name that I really like.
Yeah.
It's very Eastern European, I understand.
It is.
Never heard of someone being named after a street sign. That's a new one. Yes, it is. Thanks, Dad. That's how both me and my brother were named.
How about Cassandra?
Cassandra, the seer who was given the gift of prophecy, but also the gift of no one's ever gonna fucking believe you anyway.
Exactly.
Thanks, Apollo. That's such a fucked up way to torture somebody. Is like give them horrific visions of the future of doom and destruction, and then make it so that no one will believe them at all.
Well, Sisyphus got it worse. Lighten up.
What happened with Sisyphus again? Was it?
He was doomed to push a rock up and down over and over again, like
That's fair.
in the most useless of efforts, because it would just roll back down, and then you would push it back up the other side, and it would roll back down. And
Well,
then
yeah, but he was already dead, and he was meant to be tortured because Sisyphus did bad stuff when he was alive. Ooh, Callisto
the
is also
problem is
nice.
Cassandra was a moron. What she should have done is shit. She should have gotten a proxy. What's the story? The guy with the long nose, the idiot who can't talk, but he's in love with the woman, and then the guy with the really ugly face and the long nose gives him the words to say to win the woman's heart. Come on, somebody help me out here. I keep wanting to say Dr. Zhivago, and that's totally not it. Fuck.
I don't know. I really don't know.
I've been awake for so long. You have no idea how tired I am and sick. Oh, God.
Okay, well, we'll just call it then because we're already at the 2 hour mark.
Dvorak. Thank you, fucktard. See, now that sounded like I was like, that's his name.
Oof.
Cyrano de Balzac. Yeah. You know the story I'm talking about now, right?
No, I don't. I really don't.
Oh, shit. Weebo. I thought you were well read.
I thought so too, apparently.
Yeah, that's the story, is that Cyrano de Balzac is the titular character. And he's an ugly man because he has a grotesquely long nose in most presentations. So there's this guy who's very much in love with this beautiful woman. But he can't come up with the words to say. And Cyrano, who is attracted to the woman as well, but he's just so ugly. But he's got a beautiful mind and he can speak poetically. So he stands behind a bush and whispers the words as the guy who can't speak but loves this woman just repeats what Cyrano is telling him to say. And this woman is just like up on her balcony going, oh my God, like, and just being totally wooed, but being wooed by, in fact, Cyrano, not this man.
I'm pretty sure that is the exact plot, or like something similar to the plot of a rom-com that I've seen.
Oh, of course. You think romantic comedies are boilerplate written. It's just...
Swear to God. I've heard that, or I've watched that movie. Steve Martin did a variation of it. I'm pretty sure there's also like a teen romance rom-com movie about it too.
Yeah. Well, that concept has been played out again and again, and it's a good one. I understand why it's played out. But my point is that Cassandra, see, she could have been like Cyrano de Balzac and gotten somebody else to repeat the prophecies of doom, and everyone thinks it's this other person doing it, but it's actually... Did you just yawn so hard your eyes crossed?
Yep.
Fuck.
I'm very tired, Polly. I woke up at like 10:30 after going to bed at 1. Very tired. Sorry, I didn't mean to distract you from whatever. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. You're not that boring. I'm just that tired.
No, not that boring. But we've actually hit the time and went beyond, so let's wrap this fucker up.
Indeed. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, lizard people and robot men, variants thereupon of all ages, thank you for coming out tonight and enjoying this lovely shenanigans that we've gotten ourselves into, from eugenics to naming children to Jussie Smollett. I hope you had a good time on this journey to literally everything and everywhere. We thank you for being here and for listening to us and liking and sharing and commenting and subscribing, and for your donations as well. Without you, we would just be two idiots discussing shenanigans in a Discord. That we would.
It's true.
until next time, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, Polly is feeling better next week. Same time, same place, same udder, same face. And we'll be seeing you.
Have a good night, all.
Have a good
Merry
week.
Christmas.
Until then, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Bye.
Laters.